Hello everyone, welcome back to another Train Sim World 6 video. Before we get started, just a disclaimer, I am not affiliated with Rivet Games or Dovetail Games or any other TSW developer, nor would I wish to be associated with, in particular, Dovetail Games, who seem to be running the game into the ground these days. Anyway, today we are on Rivet Games' Bernina line in Switzerland, which is the only one of only 3 Swiss routes in the game and one of only 2 narrow gauge routes in the game. It's Swiss meter gauge that the track is gauged at, and yeah, we're driving this RhB or Retischebahn 8/12 Allegra from here at Ospizio Bernina all the way down to Tirano. So yeah, let's get started.
Das Zugteam der Rhätischen Bahn begrüßt Sie im Regionalzug.
Master key, reverse, headlights dimmed, passenger lights on, open the doors.
Brusio, Campascio, Campo Cologno, Tirano und wünscht eine angenehme Reise.
Rearview mirrors out, tail lights can stay off since we do have some coaches today. We do have a couple of EW1s from Arosa. That's the one complaint I have about this route. No, we don't have any Bernina Express coaching stock, despite that being an integral part of the route in real life. Oh well. We do also have announcements in German, Italian, and English. And in between, about here on the route, we will pass into Italy from Switzerland. Our stops today are Alps, Stablini passing loop, Cavaglia, Poschiavo, Le Prese passing loop, Le Prese, Miralago, Brusio, Campascio, Campocologno, and Tirano. So yeah. I also have the Winzarten's live weather mod activated. So yeah, this is live weather. Absolutely just gorgeous. Like, just look at the snow on this route. Like, the scenery on this route is just absolutely just beautiful. And the Allegra is a good unit too. There is evidence that this route was going to be... I know a lot of people don't like this route because it was cut off at Ospizio Bernina, but I actually don't mind that because it just takes so long to complete even the run from Ospizio Bernina to Tirano. Let's give it some juice and we're off. Next stop, Alps in 4 kilometers. And yeah, don't think we have dynamic suspension in this thing. Yeah, the only mod I have installed is London Midlands Signal Visibility Enhancement mod as well. Also, the lakes freeze if it gets below 0 degrees, which is nice. There is evidence that this route was going to be extended up to St. Moritz from Ospizio Bernina, because the track, if you do some finagling and get onto the track that goes beyond Ospizio Bernina, the track actually... Oops, forgot to put safety systems on. Thanks, game. The track laid actually goes all the way to St. Moritz. There's no scenery and there's no signaling or catenary or anything like that, but the track was laid all the way to St. Moritz, which is interesting. It's funny how we don't have the complete Bernina line in either Train Sim Classic or Train Sim World. The Bernina line made by... was it Rivet Games or Thomson Interactive in Train Sim Classic? I can't remember who did it. I think it was Rivet Games. Made the Bernina line for Train Sim Classic, but did it from St. Moritz to Poschiavo, which is about the midpoint of this route, while the one in TSW goes from Ospizio Bernina to Tirano. So if you go across both Train Sim Classic and Train Sim World, we have the entirety of the Bernina line, but we only have certain bits of it in TSW. Slow down, just got the warning sign for the 40 limit. The speed set in this unit is very effective, and the scenery is actually quite good. This is actually one of the first routes made with LiDAR, and you can tell that because this scenery is far better than the one we got on the absolute just like crap scenery that we got with the Arosa line. The Arosa line has to have the worst scenery in the game, apart from maybe West Cornwall local. I can't believe I forgot to turn the safety systems on. That's hilarious. Performance is also pretty dang stable at 60 frames, which is nice. It's 35 board, so I'll start slowing down now. Yeah. Does opening the window does improve the sounds, but since it is a rather chilly -9 degrees according to the live weather mod out there, I'm not going to open the window. Do I have any heater controls in this thing? Battery off, parking mode, safety systems, doors. Yeah, I don't think I have a heating system. I think that's controlled by the guard. I actually did a run before this that failed because the game broke in a really weird way. I'll explain in a bit, but yeah, I already have the thumbnail for today, so I won't be going into photo, but you can tell as the scenery's good when it leaves render distance. That's Italy over there, and the end of the Bernina line, but the game just hasn't even rendered it in because it's just so far away. Even at ultra, I think I'm on medium viewing distance, but even at ultra you can't see all the way down into Italy, unfortunately. 30 limit into force now, and into the tunnel. Yeah. Interestingly, the Swiss meter gauge stuff in this game is actually equipped with a whistle rather than a horn. That's to avoid avalanches, so because horns could like destabilize the ground. Which is rather interesting. It's astounding to think that the Bernina line is the steepest standard deviation line in the world at about 7.5% at the steepest parts, and yet it was built all the way back in 1912, I think it was. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, and it's just insane that a line of this quality was built all the way back then. And it's still pushing the boundaries of railways today. I wish we did have like a Swiss rack and pinion railway in TSW, not just a standard adhesion railway, but yeah, I imagine that'd be rather difficult to do in TSW. It's equipped for standard adhesion trains, so... Oh my goodness, what a spectacular view. What a spectacular view. This is all live weather, and this looks absolutely just perfect. I actually loaded into a service the other day with the live weather mod just to see what the weather was like. I was at Espezia Bernina, and the weather was not rainy, not snowy, but ground snow with fog, and I mean dense fog. Visibility was at 112 meters, according to the live weather mod, which is so. I'm really glad we managed to get something. Managed to get a run today where the weather's actually looking just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Oh, we do have 630 meters to Alpgum. Wow. Oh, I do have to acknowledge that green signal. Thank you. Just have to mash that ZS acknowledge button. Yeah. This is one of the few routes in the game which gives me vertigo, because you see you're trundling along some insane cliffs a lot of the time. But the route that gives me the worst vertigo is probably Mittenwaldbahn, especially the section from Seefeld to Innsbruck. What is it? Hooting? Yeah. Like the section where the line's going downwards at 3 and on a 3% grade, and you've just got a sheer cliff on the right hand side, and you're in a 1940s era crocodile locomotive. Thankfully, the Allegra does have the speed set does keep you at speed very nicely most of the time. Yeah. Here we go, Alps. This is probably my favorite station on the entire route because this has just like some superb scenery. I'll show you once we get there. We are actually almost a minute and a half early, which is nice. Show you like my favorite view on this entire route. Full service, please. Thank you kindly. Open the doors on the right. Let's get up. We're here for the next 2 minutes, so I might as well show you. Here's our absolutely gorgeous Allegra electric multiple unit. RhB Games did a really good job on this route. Like, there are some bits which aren't that good, like the lack of Bernina Express coaches or the lack of the extension to St. Moritz, but at the end of the day, this is a very good route. Like, if we just go all the way here to the end of this, like, industrial siding here, I know a lot of it isn't rendered in, but just look at that view. Absolutely stunning. I think the only mountain route which looks better than this is probably Mittenwaldbahn. But, like, that is some staggeringly good looking scenery. I think the only problem I have is trees only load at a certain distance away from your character, so trees don't appear at a certain distance away, so any trees like beyond this line here just don't render in. But that's a TSW core thing, and because they're able to employ RhB Games employed LiDAR, this looks absolutely superb. Look, they've even got Bernina Express branding on this little like photo thing here, so you'd stand behind it, say cheese, and then you get a photo with these absolutely gorgeous mountains. We're 2,000 meters above sea level. No wonder it's snowy. Where I am in Japan, it's still very much not snowing at time of recording, of course. Yeah, and then we've got a short run to Stablini passing loop, and then we gotta wait for another train to come from Cavalia. So like this like loop here is my favorite place to take thumbnails on this route because it just looks absolutely superb. Shut off the brakes. Depart slightly early, but who cares? Just look at that! Like, this, like, in Train Sim Classic, this section looked pretty decent, but in TSW, this looks just absolutely staggeringly good. Alright. Yeah, we got a short hop to Stablini passing loop, which the reason that the distance meter is actually increasing is because we are going away. We do have to do some hairpin turns before we get there. I love how the speed set's so effective. And yeah, this thing is actually equipped to run on the Arosa line. Sorry, going off of a bit of a tangent there to an older subject, but yeah. The DC pantograph in front and rear, pantrograph, they misspelled that. The pantographs on the front and the back are because the Bernina line's actually electrified a bit weirdly compared to other Swiss meter gauge routes. It's at DC 1 kilovolt versus, dare I say, AC 25 kilovolts for other Swiss meter gauge routes. So yeah, the Allegra is actually equipped with two different methods of electrification. It's got the front and rear pantographs for the Bernina line, and then the central AC pantograph for other routes. So yeah, the thing is equipped to run on the Arosa line for TSW. It just doesn't layer into the timetable for whatever reason. Oh my goodness, like that scenery is just beautiful, and there's even a lake down there. Nice. Probably shut that window. Wow. I hope RhB Games do eventually come back and work on this route, like giving us the Bernina Express coaches and the extension to St. Moritz, because they took a long break from making DLC for TSW after the release of the 5 Circle line. And they only, like, a 2-year break from not making DLCs. And when they did come back, they now that they have come back, they only seem to be making British content for TSW. Like, they made the West Midlands Rail and Cross Country Class 170 DLC for Birmingham Cross City, and then they made, what was it? And then they are making the Southern Class 171 and Class 377/3 gameplay pack for East Coastway. So yeah, they seem to be focusing on British content now that they've come back. I'm actually recording this the day before, yeah, a different third-party developer, Skyhook Games, releases Cargo Line Volume 5, Nuclear, and they've been through quite a time with their development. They hired a subcontractor, subcontracting development group to help work on Lawn Mowing Simulator, and then those guys did a poor job. And then I'm not really sure of all the details, but apparently there was a court case in which Skyhook did win, but it took most of their money, and they furloughed a lot of their guys to try to keep the books balanced. Yeah, so there's only one guy left on the Skyhook TSW team, and that's a guy named Adam. And he actually, yeah. So if you guys are getting Cargo Line Volume 5, just buy it. Even if you aren't interested in it. I know don't normally do this, but please buy it just to show your support for Skyhook, because it appears that Skyhook are gradually cutting back and leaving TSW. So if you guys could like get Cargo Line Volume 5 just to show your support for them, and to show that this game is still viable for them as a for developmental purposes, that'd be much appreciated, because I do like Skyhook, I like their products, and if they left TSW I'd be very sad. Please stop. Reverser in neutral. Right, we now gotta stop at Cavalia in 13 minutes. However, we've got this chap, number 40, service 4648, heading to Auspizia Bernina, that has to go all the way up here. So I will temporarily pause the recording here, and I will see you when that train passes by. Okay, everyone, we're back. I actually looked this sign up, and it's actually, if there's a train coming, you have to stay behind that, otherwise the game thinks it's a red signal. So yeah, here he comes. Up the hill. Or mountain. You know what I mean? There we go. Yeah, gotta wait until we get that green. Yeah. Ooh, it's got some empty log wagons on the back. Nice. Come on, we got 8 minutes to get to Cavalia. Thank you. 50% power. Here we go. And we're on the move again. I forgot to zoom the map out. There we go. That does increase performance. Yeah. .5 kilometers to go, but remember that isn't in a straight line. Once we pass Poschiavo, the line does straighten out, and travel between stations does get more, quick. We do have one more passing loop we have to stop at La Presa because, yeah, this is a, yeah, this service is not one that has priority, let's put it that way. Ooh, just look at that view, that's beautiful. Wow. Still minus 6 degrees Celsius according to the live weather mod. Another problem I have with this route is that there's no wires between electricity poles, which is obviously completely unrealistic. We will be able to go faster once we pass Poschiavo because the line will not be as windy. There is one bit, I think it's near La Presa, where we could go up to a whopping 60 kilometers an hour, which is, for this line, feels fast. It's ironic that it's probably one of the slowest lines in the game apart from the Arosa line. Like, yeah, and Niedertalbahn. The Niedertalbahn, like highest speed you could go on Niedertalbahn is 60 kilometers an hour, I think. A house, which is presumably like a request stop for the train. Should be getting a ton of points for this because I'll be using so much. I'll be pressing the safety, acknowledging the safety system so much. I'm only 900 meters away, but now I'm getting further away because we're still winding. Come on, buddy. Let's get down this hill. Another problem I have with the Allegra is that you can't hit the contrast button because in tunnels this thing is blinding. That screen is blinding. Ooh, nice little bridge. We can go up to 45 after Cavalia, according to the track monitor, which is nice. Just want to try the wipers. Oh, okay, so that's what their animation is. I've never driven this thing in anything other than non-rainy weather. Performance doing 54-ish FPS. That's not bad for this line. Now there are some bits which are quite performance intensive because it's having to load so many like tree assets in and a lot of mountains. So 900 meters to go. No more hairpins, I hope. Let's have a look. Yeah, no more hairpins. But the bit from Cavalia to Poschiavo is definitely the most windy part of the route in game anyway. Don't know about the bit to St. Moritz. Come on, buddy. Let's just get there in time. We have 2 minutes to do 600 meters. I think we'll do it in time. announcement.
Nächster Halt, Cavaglia.
Prossima fermata, Cavagila.
Next stop, Cavaglia.
I actually really do like the trilingual announcement. Rivet Games actually perfected the train announcements in TSW with 5 Circle and Bernina line far before they were a default feature in the game. Like, we're talking February, March 2024 versus September 2025 for them being added into the default game, which is somewhat funny. Alright. Cavaglia. We do have a green signal, so there aren't any trains coming up from the other way. Let's cut the power, get some tad of brakes going. Put the speed set to 45. I do love how quickly the brakes release. It's a very responsive unit. Here we are. We've got just over a minute to staying here at Cavaglia, and then we're on to our next major stop, which will be Poschiavo. Do have a nice little thing over here with like people sitting down. Are you sure you're not cold in that? Wow. Altitude. We've actually come down 300 meters in altitude since Alps, which is actually insane. 300 meter altitude change in between stations. It's like Alps is like up there. Can't really see it from here, but yeah. Give some juice and away we go. We will have to slow down, but I want to take advantage of this. Sorry. At this 45 section while we can. There we go. This feels so fast, even though like 45 kilometers an hour is only like 20 miles an hour. 4.3 kilometers to Poschiavo. But obviously, do remember that that is not in a straight line. It's that distance displayed is from there to there, not there to there, with all these windings in between. But after Poschiavo, the line does get noticeably less windier. There is one bit along this section of line that we will have to go down to 25 kilometers an hour. Into the tunnel. Ooh, that is a long way down. That is a very long way down. Oh, scenery's... Wow, you can really tell that I've got a lower view distance set. So the few routes where you can really easily tell that. Alright. Air temperature is gradually increasing. We started out at -9 degrees Celsius, now we're at -4. I expect some place between here and Poschiavo where where the snow will disappear, because yeah, it doesn't. This game doesn't just load snow above a certain altitude. It just like, is it snow loaded or not, and then it just puts, if snow is going to be loaded, then it just puts snow everywhere, and if it doesn't have snow, it just doesn't put any snow anywhere. Yeah, hopefully that is a good explanation. Rivet Games actually modeled the passenger pass in between certain stops on this route to, apparently, and I haven't tried this myself, you can actually walk between all of the stations between Ospizio, Bernina, and Poschiavo, I think, but yeah. But obviously I'm not one who would do that, because that would just take hours, like literal hours, even with the sprinting speed in this game being pretty high, I must say. This is so slow, but it is what it's the line speed is in real life, so. Wow, that is such a long way down. Poschiava hasn't even loaded in because it's so much farther down from us in altitude. Come on. Acknowledge that. Thank you. The ZS system is slightly interesting sometimes. Whee! This route is so windy. What in the world? Did you see that? That was weird. Wonder how much further we have. We're just about to start on the first hairpin. We've got 3 other hairpins left. My goodness. We've got 20 minutes to do 2.5 kilometers in a straight line. That is insane. Oh, hello. Is the snow disappearing? Yeah, the live weather mod is decreasing the ground snow. So yeah, we've passed the snow line. But yeah, as you can see, it's now decreasing the snow everywhere across the whole world, which is, I think, just a limitation of core TSW. But hopefully I'll be proven wrong at some point about that. But hey, it is what it is. One can't, like, no games are perfect. And TSW certainly isn't a perfect game. Anywhere near perfect. There is some stuff in this game which is close to perfect, like I'm thinking of the stuff by Just Trains and Trains of Germany, but yeah. Yeah, ground snow, yeah. The live weather mod is decreasing the amount of ground snow, so yeah. Like, and it removed snow everywhere, which is annoying, but yeah. We've passed the snow line and we're now on to, yeah. Still cold, but yeah, there's no snow in this area now. Yeah, there is a tad of ground snow left. Not much, just a little bit. Oh, there's a house. There's actually quite a few houses on this hill. My goodness. This route still looks pretty good in the summer, but nowhere near as beautiful as it is in the snow. Oh well. Yeah, we're dropping hundreds of meters. Not all at once, of course, but just very gradually. Le Preza passing loop. Wonder how long we're gonna have to stay there for. FPS is gradually decreasing. That's just because that's just because TSW and my computer don't really like each other anymore. Oh well. Still dropping. pressing that acknowledge button. There we go. Hopefully it won't go off again. Never mind, it did. Passing loop. 14 minutes to Poschiavo. Wow, this 2% grade, which would kill most British trains, is still much flatter than the 7% grade we were on earlier. There's a collectible here, even though you can't fast travel here. Interesting. And we're back into the normal routine. How's performance doing? Decently, actually. Wow. This route is beautiful, even with no snow about. You can see some roads winding up there across the valley. Wow. I just pressed the acknowledge button automatically out of habit and I cancelled the vigilance. Wow. Must have been instinct. Wow. That's basically a cliff right there. This railway's nuts. Like, who, like, this, like, credit where credit is due. Like, the Japanese, like, often say that the Japanese have the best railway system in the world, but my goodness, the Swiss are in a close second when it comes to railways. The timetabling, the efficiency, the timetabling, and that's our first gated railway crossing of the day. And they're also, especially their proficiency for building just the most insane mountain railways the world has ever seen. Like, wow. It's just such a pity that we only have one good Swiss route in the game. Like, and we only have 3 Swiss routes in Train Sim World in total. And we have some decent Swiss content for Train Sim Classic, thanks to the efforts of Rivet Games and Thomson Interactive. But, my goodness. Like, if we could get some more Swiss routes for TSW that aren't garbage, especially like Swiss standard gauge routes, that's the only one that we have is Espan-Central-Schweiz, and that's only 16 miles long. The RhB 523 included with that also has some pretty janky sounds, and the ETCS system on there is completely just a bodged mess. I'm just sad that we don't have more good Swiss content for this game other than the Bernina line. We have to go down to 25 kilometers an hour in a minute. My goodness. Is that an old railway bridge? It is! They must have had to replace that bridge at one point and just left it there. Didn't really have the resources to demolish it. They probably have to... How did they even maintain this railway? Like, maintaining the Bernina line must be an absolute pain. Because, among other things, how would you get a large amount of supplies up here? There are basically no roads capable of handling large amounts of materials. You'd basically have to do everything in small quantities by train. Which is just nuts. Like, the sheer logistics just needed to maintain this wonder railway. I know, like, and I'm actually, that's a semi-historical term, because in Germany during the Second World War, like, the Air Force came up with some pretty cool experimental planes, like the Me-262 jet fighter, which is like the world's first jet fighter ever made, and like and some other experimental planes were like grouped with that and called the Wunderwaffe or Wonder Force, I think. And I'm going to steal that term and use it for the railway. I'm going to call it the Wonder Railway. I know that sounds pretty cheesy, but with the sheer logistics and maintenance needed, and just to maintain this small section of this small meter gauge railway across one of the most harsh mountain ranges in the world. Like, that's pretty impressive, you gotta admit. Like, wow. Also, because we're so far out, we are getting a tad of blurry textures at this range, but even that's beautiful. Like, this... Like, this is just beautiful. Another problem I do have with this route there is that the catenary, you can obviously tell, is the pre-TSW6 catenary, so it just fades out after a bit because the anti-aliasing just bodges it. 46 FPS, that's decent. Especially, like, the challenges of maintaining an electrified railway as well, because you not only have to deal with the track and the bridges and all that stuff, but you also have to deal with the overhead wires, catenary, and all of that, and the just to make sure they're all working. Oh, there's a small industrial siding, presumably for maintaining the railway, but it's also unelectrified, which makes me wonder: does RhB have some, like, small diesel engines, locomotives, just for use for dragging wagons to up the mountain to repair the railway?
Treffen wir in Poschiavo, dem Hauptort des Tals, ein. 3 Türme prägen das Ortsbild. Die reformierte Barockkirche, das Rathaus und die Stiftskirche San Vittore mit ihrem imposanten romanischen Turm. Von denjenigen Gästen, die hier aussteigen, möchten wir uns verabschieden. Wir danken Ihnen und wünschen einen schönen Aufenthalt in Poschiavo.
Stiamo appena arrivando a Poschiavo, il capoluogo della valle. Si possono osservare le 3 torri che sono un'attrazione storica e emblematica della città. Una è la chiesa barocca della Riforma, una appartiene al municipio e una alla chiesa di San Vittore. Auguriamo ai passeggeri che ci lasciano qui una piacevole visita a Poschiavo e grazie per aver viaggiato con noi.
We are just coming into Poschiavo, the main town in the potential landmarks here.
Oh,
One is the
disappearing
Baroque
railway
Church
crossing
of
barriers.
Reformation,
That's a core
one
game
belongs
issue.
to the Town Hall, and one to the Church of San Vittore. We would like to wish passengers leaving us here a pleasant visit to Poschiavo, and thank you for traveling with us.
Dang, that was actually those announcements actually took like a minute to resolve. I do love the announcements with this line. Like, it's the only route in the game which has I think it's the only route in the game which has multilingual announcements, but there will be a route with bilingual announcements, which will be Cardiff City Network, because once the Transport for Wales Pacer comes out, the announcements in the Pacer will be bilingual Welsh and English. Which is just great. Like, come on. No, come on.
Nächster Halt, Poschiavo.
Here we are.
Prossima fermata, Poschiavo.
Next stop, Poschiavo.
That's so cool. Yeah, I'm just having to mash my safety system acknowledge button because of the... Yeah, here we are. The most technically challenging section of the route has been completed. Yeah, here we are. Sadly, there isn't any stock in the sidings at Poschiavo, nor can we go in and out of the depot here, which is the one on the right with the yellow doors. And there are no ECS moves either. Right, 20% on the brakes. Sound the whistle. Stay behind the white line, you muppets. That's a TSW thing. I just hate that. Like, why do the NPCs stand right next to the track, which you would never do in real life, because that's just so dangerous. You get swept off the track. Alright. Poschiavo probably is the biggest station on the route, apart from maybe Tirano, in terms of, like, size. I don't know about St. Moritz, though. Full service onto the brakes. Bullseye. Open the doors. We're here for the next 3 minutes. My goodness. Unlock the door. Alright. All aboard. No, you wouldn't say that. Let's see. Oh, it's the request stop box. Aha. So yeah, if we go over to the Poschiavo depot. Run all the way over there. Do a bit of a tour while we're here. Yeah, you can't get in. No, there are some details. Like, look at that. But you just can't get in it for whatever reason, which annoys me, because they went to the trouble of putting that detail in, yet you can't do anything with that in game. Oh well. Classic Rivet. That, I think it was DC 4260 Productions, formerly the train spotter from Tauranga, who coined the phrase, "That's our rivet," and I think that phrase holds up very nicely here. That's our rivet, alright. So yeah, we've gone from here to here, and we have this section left to go. Yeah, we've actually traveled less than half of the total distance, but we... Oh yeah, like, look, it even says Bernina Express, and yet you can see not the Bernina Express coaches, but the EW1s. Very annoying. Annoys me to this day that we don't have Bernina Express stuff in the game. Ooh, pizza. There's also a Swiss hat collectible that I haven't seen around yet today. Bench. The bench assets are custom, which is nice. Let's see if there's anything. Oh! Ah, there's a Swiss hat right here that I didn't see. Let's see if there's anything around this side. Excuse me. You actually have 1 minute. Yeah. I haven't explored anything. No, I don't want to give up. I haven't explored any of that area, but... Perhaps another day, perhaps. Gotta get back to our train. Excuse me. I wonder if... Yeah. These EW1s, you can tell they're not modeled as well as the Allegra is. They're recycled from the Arosa line of all things. Which is very annoying. Alright, let's get back on board. 30 seconds till we go. Shut the doors. Alright. Ooh, we can go up to 55. Nice. That'll make a nice change. Go via La Prese passing loop 1 in 3.2 kilometers. Come on, acknowledge it. Thank you. Look at us go. We're flying. 55 kilometers an hour. Wow. The Allegra is actually, theoretically, mind you, capable of 120 kilometers an hour in normal line surface, but it normally doesn't get anywhere near that. I believe there is a meter gauge train, a Swiss one, that has topped 140 kilometers an hour. However, I'm not aware of which one that is. My goodness, this feels like it's on a roller coaster. Come on, acknowledge that green signal. Come on. Thank you. Alright, we gotta slow down to 30 in a minute. That's the warning sign. There it is. This thing can brake even on steep slopes down to line speed, which is just nuts. This thing has oodles of power for days. Oh my goodness, that's an insane grade change. We go from 1% to 7% just like that. Just nuts. Sound the whistle. Ooh, road running section ahead. This is actually quite neat. I do like this. Only the Swiss would run their trains simultaneously alongside a road. Like, just Swiss railways. It's just nuts. Like, who would even think of doing stuff like this in any other country but Switzerland? Oh my goodness, that's actually a narrow road right next to those buildings. My goodness. Right, hello chaps. You can go now. We can actually go up to 60 kilometers an hour a minute. Wow. Let's actually put it to 80. Ooh, we can go back to 55 now. What station is this? I actually don't remember. Likert. Yeah. I'm not stopping there. That's the first station today we're not stopping at. 60! Fastest speed we'll be achieving today. Speed and power. Whee! Yeah, the scenery is a bit bare bones, I'll be honest, like, despite the foliage detail, but it's not the end of the world. I know I complain about scenery a lot, but yeah. With the mountain scenery, I think it makes up for a lot. Alright. Yeah, we do have a lot more speed limit changes now that we're on a more straight section of track. Sound the whistle for crossing. Yeah, we don't. Yeah, there's not a lot of detail in this scenery. Go via. Okay, we have 600 meters until the La Prese passing loop. Slow down, buddy. There's the sign. Speed limit comes down. Do have to have the track monitor for quite a lot of these speed limit changes. It goes from 60 to 30 and then back to 60, back to 30. Like, what? Oh, hello. It appears... Oh, shush. Shush. Everything's fine. Just keep it at 45. Yeah, we do not have the distance to go up to 30. There's another train, which is 1652 Tirano to Ospizio Bernina. There's 3 EW1 coaches on the back. 900 meters to La Prese. Yeah, sorry, mate. Sorry to hold you up, mate. That's the last passing loop of the day. There he goes. 30 limit in force. Another street running section coming up into Le Preze, and I believe this is like a... Le Preze is actually a stop on this road, so it's basically like a tram stop, but isn't. Which is just weird. Like, Swiss railways are just weird and wonderful, and I love them.
Nächster Halt, Le Preze.
Prossima fermata, Le Prese.
Next stop, Le Preze.
Yeah. Like, who else would run their train, connect wagons to their multiple units, and run the train simultaneously on a road? Like, the Swiss are just really good at having wonderfully just unconventional railways. It's just a pity I can't run any other stock in this in-game, because the Allegra is the only train in game capable of the DC kilovolt overhead wires, and because it's meter gauge, I can't run any other like diesel trains on it in free roam. Because how cool would that be to run some other trains on here in free roam? Alright, here we go. Le Preze. 10 minutes early. What? How? How am I 10 minutes early? Stop, please. Thank you. And we're here for the next 10 minutes. Okay, so that means I will pause the recording here and I will come back when we are scheduled to leave. Alright, we have 1 more minute until we are supposed to leave. Literally waited for the last 10 minutes here. I didn't skip it or anything. I'm legitimately sat and waited. So, yeah. What is this texture? It's so weird. That's odd looking. Yeah, we're traveling by Miralago Lake. Yeah. Beans! Finally, we're on the move again. This is actually just... like, yes, finally! Why did we have to wait for so long at what was that, Le Preze? Yeah, Le Preze. Next stop is Miralago in 6 minutes with Bruzio, Campascio, Campocologno and Tirano left to go. 2.5 kilometers to Miralago. Right, we could go up to 35 in a minute. Oh no, that's an overspeed. Stop it. Come on. It's a bit sensitive, the throttle lever. Finally, we're on the move again. That took so long. That wasn't even funny. It took that long. Okay, we could go up to 45 in a minute, which is reasonably quick. We still have a long way to go. We have all the way down here, around the loop, and then to Tirano. Pity we don't have any Italian standard gauge AI at Tirano, because that would actually be pretty cool. The Eroso line has the same issue. No Swiss standard gauge AI at Cour, at the bottom of the line. Still going. After Miralago, we start going downhill more. There's the 45 board. Performance is still doing actually quite decently, considering we're this long into a run. You wouldn't believe how torturous that was, waiting for us to be clear to leave Le Preze. the live weather app is still functioning as normal. It's pretty much absolutely clear. Whoa, those rock assets load in very close to the train. What's going on with that? My goodness. We have a 40 limit coming into Miralago and then a 30 limit leaving it. Gotcha. It feels nice going at a somewhat reasonable speed. Oh, and that's the drone camera literally trapped underground. Nope, not anymore. Why do the EW1 wagons sound like literal shopping carts? I'm not kidding, they do sound like shopping carts. Looks as though we'll be arriving at Miralago 2 minutes early.
Nächster Halt, Miralago. Die nächste Station hat nur einen Bahnsteig. Bitte seien Sie vorsichtig, wenn Sie den Zug verlassen.
Prossima fermata, Miralago. La fermata successiva ha un solo binario. Preghiamo di fare attenzione mentre si scende dal treno.
Next stop, Miralago. The next station has a single platform. Please take care when leaving the train.
We could afford to come in slowly. Right. Platform is on the right-hand side of the train. One of the things the announcements did not specify. Welcome to Miralago. 1 minute early. How are we so early to everything? Like, I think coming into La Presa 10 minutes early has to be a record for me for how early I've been. Like, why? We're here for the next 2 minutes, so... Can I get out of the... I can't get out of my own train. For heaven's sake, so I can't even get the collectibles. This lake is... Miralago is actually frozen in winter. It's not frozen right now because the temperature's above freezing, but yeah, you get the idea. Miralago's... Like, one of the perks of this route is the nicely modelled stations. Like, this route does have some decently modelled stations. That lake isn't far away from freezing, though, because it's currently 3 degrees Celsius. So yeah, after this is so after this, just as a reminder, is Brusio, Campascio, Campocologno, and Tirano. And it's scheduled to take another half an hour. Since the 30 limit comes into effect so soon after Miralago, I've just put the speed set to 30 just so we don't overspeed. Doors closing. Train is departing. Nope, wrong button. That's the button. Yep, there's the speed board for the 30 kilometer an hour limit. Some extra power. There we go. Another temporary road running section. Next stop, Brusio in 2.4 kilometers. So Brusio. So it will be in between Brusio and Campascio where we go over the loop. I think it's one of the only sections of track in the world which does that, which loops down. Ooh, another. Now that we're past Miralago, we now are on a really steep downhill section again. We've been using the brake far more than the throttle today, that's for sure. That's actually a decent view down the valley. That's actually quite nice. I like that. I don't normally do runs on the Bernina line because it just takes so long to complete a run on this route in game. Can't believe it's almost 2 years since this route came out. Wow. Like, what was it? Like February 2024. It's just a few months until, yeah, the second anniversary of this route comes rolling round. Down we go. Really, this thing has very powerful dynamic brakes, to its credit. Like, the fact that we're keeping it 30 kilometers an hour on one of the steepest graded sections of railway in the world is very, very impressive. We can actually begin to see Tirano now. That's the mountain behind Tirano. Like, Tirano's right down there. Can't see it yet because it hasn't even rendered in, but the mountain behind it is rendered in. Don't know why I just did gestures like behind it. Because you can't see my gestures, of course. Around the turn. We have 4 minutes to do just over a kilometer. Do have quite a few stops left before we get there. How long will be at Bruzio? 1 minute if we arrive on time. So, are there any absurdly long sections? Like, 1 minute in Capaccio, 1 minute at Capocologno, and then it's Tirano. So, yeah, we don't have too many long sections waiting at stations like we had at Le Prese. I have no idea why it took so long to wait at Le Prese. It's weird. How's performance doing? 40 FPS, more than enough, really. This route isn't that good of a performer, I'll be honest. Railway crossing.
In Kürze fahren wir über den berühmten Kreisviadukt von Bruzio. Über ihm drehen wir, ähnlich wie in den Kehrtunnels, eine Schleife. Entlang der Kehrschleife sind runde, iglu-ähnliche Steinhaufen zu sehen, welche früher als Speicher für Wein und Käse dienten.
Tra pochi minuti attraverseremo il famoso viadotto circolare di Bruzio. A questo edificio il treno percorre nuovamente un anello per perdere o guadagnare quota, come nei tunnel a spirale dopo Bergamo. I tumuli di pietra, simili ai gru sottostanti, furono usati per conservare vino e formaggio.
In a few minutes, we will be crossing the famous circular viaduct in Bruzio. This construction again makes a loop to lose or gain height, like the spiral tunnels after Bergamo. The igloo-like stone mounds below were once used for storing wine and cheese.
No announcements about the station, just about the spiral viaduct. We will be coming... Yeah, we're not too far away. It'll be just after we leave Bruzio. And I hope my Italian and Swiss pronunciations have been up to scratch today, because obviously I'm not a native speaker of those languages. I think my best pronunciations of any non-English language is probably Japanese. Alright, we do have a red signal coming into...
Nächster Halt, Bruzio.
Bruzio, yeah. I assume it's the train coming from Tirano.
Next stop, Bruzio.
Alright, cut the power, just so we don't have to do it ourselves. Get a tad of brakes going, like 10% should be enough. My goodness, that was a tight curve coming into Bruzio, my goodness. Alright, let's get some brakes going. Oh wow, we're actually stopping quite a close to quite a long way away from Bruzio platform. What? Is this stop marker in this station wrong? Oh, is that an overshoot? That is a bit of an overshoot. Not too much though. What side does it want me to open the doors on? The left? The right? There we go. The right-hand side doors were the ones to open. That's so weird. Why is the stop marker so far beyond the platforms? Let's lock the left-hand doors. Nope. It was the left-hand doors that were the ones... Oh, for goodness sake. No, it's the right... What? Okay, I'll just open both sides then. For heaven's sake. Right, let's see if there's a train coming up from the south. It's causing this red signal. No. Oh, it's now green. Okay, it's just an approach signal. Thanks, game. Yeah, I'll just keep the doors on both sides open. Why don't I? Ugh. Says the... not yet. So yeah, it's literally just south of Bruzio. So we come out of here, down here, whoosh, around the loop, and then into Campascio, Campocologno, and Tirano. So yeah, while they do have Italian-sounding names, it is both the only station that is in Italy proper is Tirano. Alright, let's give welly, and off we go! Back up to 30 kph. Whee! And back down the hill. 1.7 kilometers to Campascio in 5 minutes. Oh my goodness, we're back, heading back down it again. Ooh, hello. There is the loop. You can see part of it anyway. There is the loop. We're still stuck at 30 kilometers an hour for, I imagine, all the way to Campascio. Campascio, I mean. Is it Campascio or Campascio? I'm not sure. It's the hard C or soft C. Italian speakers in the comments, please do let me know. Because I do try to improve, do good pronunciations, but sometimes I'm not infallible. Look at that loop. Yes. It's actually pretty cool, to be fair. Whee! This is actually a lot of fun to go down. Despite the fact you're limited to 30 kph. Whee! We're still going around. Look how much we actually lose quite a bit of elevation. And heading back under the track again. Whee! Oh, there's actually people on those benches there. I didn't know that was a thing. Nice. Yep, 900 meters to Campascio, or Campascio. I think it's Campascio. Soft, with a soft C. The speed limits on this line are just so slow.
Nächster Halt, Campascio.
Yeah, it's a soft C.
Prossima fermata, Campascio.
Next stop, Campascio.
Railway crossing to nowhere. I assume it does have a place it goes in real life, but yeah. Oh no. FPS has just been gradually dropping. I think this is the worst section of the route for performance. Oh well. Alright, cut the power. Get some brakes going. This station is not big and it's on a slope, so 50% on the brakes, 100%. Thank goodness for the strong brakes on the Allegra. I actually stopped a bit early. Oops. We're actually here for the next minute and a half. Here for a minute and a half. Ooh, pizza. A lot of collectibles I haven't gotten yet on this line, embarrassingly. Oh, I'll shut all the other doors. Never mind, that's if I can actually shut them. Oh, and I just stranded the drone camera. Whoops. So, hopefully the EW1 doors are, yeah. Shut the doors that aren't in the platform area because I wish TSW did that. I'll train some classic routes to do that, but not in TSW for some reason. Ugh. So yeah, all we've got left are Campo Cologno and Tirano. First stops today. Shut the doors. There we go. Brakes off. Give it some welly, and we're off. Oh dear. 31 FPS. I don't know why this route gets so performance intensive in this area. Even 2 years later, it's still pretty unoptimized, especially in this section. Oh well, it is what it is. Hopefully, as we get toward Tirano, the performance should improve. I hope. I really do hope. 870 meters to Campo Cologno. Yeah, so we've got this section to Campo Cologno and then that section to Tirano.
Nächster Halt, Campo Cologno.
Prossima fermata, Campo Cologno.
Next stop, Campo Cologno.
Yeah. It's holding steady at about 32 frames. That's not good. Oh, that's a petrol station. Or a gas station for you non-Britishers. Oh, hello. Is there a train coming up from Tirano that's causing the delay? Imagine so. Oh, never mind, there isn't. I think it's just an approach signal. Oh, there's a siding. Don't think we get any timetable services that go up there. Oh, neat little railway crossing, like, across a bridge. That's actually pretty cool. Whee! Cut the power. Campo Cologno. % on the brakes. Oh boy, it's 26 FPS. Oh no. That's not good. But I have optimized my computer pretty well, so yeah, this is the root causing this issue, not my computer. It's just the root that's poorly optimized. We're here for the next 2 minutes. Contact signal now. Yeah, and then it's just a short running section down to Italy and our final stop, Tirano. There goes the... Oh my goodness! That guy is really up that other guy's bumper. My goodness. Can't you Swiss chaps drive well? It was all the guys being let out from this railway crossing here. That was... For goodness sake, you would think that they would optimize the traffic somewhat well. Yeah. Next stop after this is our final stop, Tirano, platform 4A at 14:24. So just under 10 minutes. Alright, it's almost time to go. But that thing acts as our stop, as like if the next signal is red, that sign also counts as a red signal in the game. So you do not want to go past that, otherwise it will spad you. Just lock the doors. Sound the whistle. Green signal? Question mark. We got 8 minutes down to Tirano, platform 4A. Is this a broken signal? Wait for signal to change. Is there a train coming I gotta wait for? Please tell me. No, it's this guy. Stop arrived added... Wait a minute. Are we mutually... I think we're mutual... Oh, no. Tirano at 15:08. 15:08. Wait a minute. Ospezia Bernina delayed by 25 minutes. Yeah, that train's mutually blocked. We're mutually blocked. Damn it. I have to delete him. There's no other way for me to go past. Right, sit in the driver's seat. Have I got no path now? No. Wait for signal to... Okay, it's green now. Sound the whistle because those barriers are up. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I can't believe I had to delete that train. I've heard of other routes having the mutual blocking issue, but I didn't realize the Bernina line was one of them. That is... This route has just... This run has just been cursed. Like... There's been some other stuff that won't make it into the final cut that... Yeah. This run has been seriously cursed, and I have no idea why. Now we have no HUD. Top left HUD. Thanks, game. Are you serious? I wonder... Hang on, I actually want to look this up. At what point do we crash... Do we... Not crash... Pass through the border into Italy? Alright, so at what point... Wait a minute, we've already passed the border. Okay. Welcome to Italy, everybody. Welcome to, yeah, the only section of Italy that we have in TSW is only like, 2 kilometers of it? Of track actually in Italy? Such a shame, really. Like, think of the fun we could have had in it if we had like a proper Italian route with like that red Italian high-speed one with like that, yeah, the Vecchiarovia train. I think it's what it's called. Please correct me in the comment section if I'm wrong about that. I do not know why the route is performing this badly. It's the route, not my computer. It's just it's TSW just being annoying. We do have the lowest speed limit of the entire day coming up. 15 kph through a street running section. It annoys me to this day that this is the only section of Italy that we have in TSW. Very annoying, but hey ho, it is what it is. That's the 25 board. Red section coming up. I think it's the... I'm going to be careful. Yeah, there's the board for the 25 limit. After we cross this little bridge here. Here's the road running section. We don't have a 15 limit yet, but we will. Just over a kilometer to Tirano. Alright, gotta keep an eye out for that 15 limit. There's the warning board. Why is it performing at only 26 FPS? Like, why? Just why? There it is. There's the 15 limit coming into force. So I'll try to keep it as high a speed as possible for as long as I can. 15 limit in force now. There we go. Oh my goodness, this is tortuously slow. I can literally run faster than this. Why is the speed limit in this section? Okay, those cars just despawned into thin air. The street running sections are actually nice. Like, look at that church off to the right there. That's beautiful. Like, the assets really do capture like the spirit, like the aesthetic of like a Alpine Swiss Italian route. We do have a red signal coming into Tirano for whatever reason, despite the fact we deleted that train into oblivion. Yeah, I do not know why that train just was... Yeah, I think we had... yeah, it's just annoying. I hate that happened, but I had no choice. It was just broken. I would have never gotten to Tirano otherwise. Right, there's the red signal. I'll keep it. So there's a green, and then almost immediately after that there is a red, so... Despite the fact that there's no one else. Contact signaler. Proceed at restricted speed. Thank you kindly. Slowest section in the entire route. Oh, wrong button. Oh. Those were Italian railway crossings. I think that's like one of only like 2 Italian railway crossings in the game. So they're a lot louder than the Swiss ones, I gotta say. The Swiss ones are much more polite and like more muted.
Nächster Halt, Tirano.
Prossima fermata, Tirano.
Next stop, Tirano.
It's Tirano, not Tirano. But I'll take, yeah. 300 meters, and we finally made it after one of the most torturous runs I have ever had in TSW. I didn't think I'd ever make it here, or that this video would ever make it into the final cut, but thank goodness I actually did make it. Cut the power. Welcome to Tirano. There's the standard gauge tracks off to the right. Alright, let's start slowing down. Yeah, this is where the train was stopped. I do not know why our two trains were mutually blocking each other, but hey, it is what it is. Put the train brake. Parking mode. I remember seeing a parking mode switch. Somewhere on the left-hand side? Or was it the right-hand side? Battery off, battery on, parking mode. Parking brake. On. At least train brake. Welcome to Tirano, everybody. That's pretty satisfying. Getting there after after the game tried to end our run multiple times. Some of which you, the viewer, didn't even see. And there we go, we got a platinum medal despite everything. We only lost 65 points speeding, that's pretty good. So yeah, that'll be all for this video, everybody. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, so you never miss another one of these videos. And thank you all so much for watching. Goodbye.